Good morning, everyone. Megan here, the Healing Foods Coach. Hope you're all doing well on this Monday, the 8th of September. Today's topic is all about whether or not we should ever look to reintroduce foods that we have already eliminated from our diets. Now, I'm not talking about the processed junk food, the sugars and the seed oils. I'm referring to whole foods found in nature that many of us have had to eliminate because of gut issues, food sensitivities, intolerances, or allergies. So at the top of my personal list is plant materials, milk and dairy products. Should we try to reintroduce those things? And I would advise, if you are looking to test to see if maybe now you can tolerate those things, if you've eliminated them, proceed with caution. Cautionary tale based on my own personal experience. So as I've shared in other videos, I went carnivore 5 years ago. I cut out all plant materials. Eventually had to eliminate all milk and dairy products because I was lactose intolerant. And in spite of knowing that, I was still for many years drinking coffee with milk in it. So whether that was as a latte, a cappuccino, or just a cup of coffee with milk. And I realized that I had to completely cut out all the dairy, even in small amounts, because my body couldn't tolerate it. Makes sense, right? You're lactose intolerant, you get rid of milk and dairy products. Butter being the exception, because how it's made is it's basically got no lactose in it. So that's not a problem for me. That's fine. Hummed along with life, kept to those restrictions. Today, I still continue to eat just beef, butter, eggs, and chicken breasts, slightly prepared slightly differently from time to time, but those are the things I eat. Okay, those are the things I enjoy. Those are the things that nourish me, that I do well with, and that do not cause adverse reactions. And for many years, I didn't even contemplate having any fruit of any kind, or vegetables of any kind, low carb or otherwise. And then yesterday, as I was grilling up the burger patties for my husband and I for our lunches. He's keto, I'm carnivore. So I was grilling up the burger patties. I was cutting up some slices of cheese for him to just take with his packed lunch. And I just decided, hey, it's been a few years. What if I had a small piece of cheese? Maybe I'm okay now. Now, this was not something I got rid of because I didn't like it, because I found it was causing me major cravings, although eating cheese, because it has some carbs in it, did always have that effect. It was because I am lactose intolerant, but I thought maybe a small piece of cheese should be fine. I was really hungry. It was right there, had a small piece of cheese. And so I ate it. And nothing happened right away. So I thought, oh, I guess I'm all right. Carrying on, finishing up making our lunches. And of course, as he's keto, he has been enjoying this summer blueberries and strawberries with full fat plain Greek yogurt. That's his substitute for the sugary treats and things he used to have, which is fine. It works for him. It's been working great. And I was not tempted once all summer to have any yogurt or any of the strawberries or blueberries that he's been having in the fridge until yesterday. There was a packet sitting there that had been open and had some blueberries in it, and they looked really nice. And I gave in, and I tried a couple of blueberries, and I thought, oh, those are nice, and nothing happened, so I'll have a couple more. And by the end of it, I'd eaten a handful of blueberries, which is more blueberries than I've ever had in 5 years. Okay, couple things. One, the very slight sweet taste set off my cravings for more sweet taste. So I couldn't have just one or two little blueberries. 2 blueberries led to a handful of blueberries, and I had to force myself to stop. At that point, I actually had to cut off a small piece of butter and eat that, because I realized I'm getting these hunger signals and I'm starting to have cravings. I'm not super hungry, but I don't want to keep eating cheese and blueberries because I know I will overeat. I will give in and binge, and that will be bad, right? So I had a piece of butter, and that actually helped. However, before I did that, I noticed almost immediately after eating that piece of cheese that I started to have a slight headache, and that carb cravings started to come to life. which is crazy. I know it's cheese, and it's not pure carb. There's a bit of carbs in it because of the milk, right? But it just fed my desire to binge and eat even more, and I didn't want that just from a small little piece of cheese. But the other thing that I noticed is that as I kind of kept an eye on things over the evening, within 20 minutes, my rosacea had a couple of new red spots here and here. That was strictly from the cheese. With regards, excuse me, to the blueberries, within 10 minutes of, no, 5 minutes of finishing that handful of blueberries, I was already uncomfortably bloated. My IBS was triggered like no one's business. Two things were brought to mind. The first being, when you remove something from your body, the longer you go without it, the more sensitive your body is if you try to put it back in yourself. Okay. And so I had like a supreme reaction, like a supreme IBS reaction, which I really haven't had things like that in ages. And so to be uncomfortably bloated and feeling that discomfort and gassy and just the constipation was almost immediate, and it was awful. And so I would suggest to those of you who are thinking, well, what if I was to slowly reintroduce this or that item? Again, not talking about processed junk food, but actual whole foods. I would say proceed with great caution. If you eliminated things, you likely did so for a reason. And it could have been because, again, you might have lactose intolerance. You might have been diagnosed, like not WebMD'd, but actually diagnosed by a GP or a gastroenterologist with irritable bowel syndrome, or even perhaps inflammatory bowel disease, which means, honestly, those things that were triggers before will always be triggers. And therefore, you should never, ever, ever bring them back into your diet, ever, because you're just going to have the same reaction, only more severe because now it's been a while, right? So I would highly suggest, please proceed with caution. And if you have eliminated these things, not because of personal choice, some people have eliminated certain plants or dairy products or other foods even because they just wanted to see if it helped them lose more weight, if it helped them get into ketosis, if they felt better, if they did that. That's more of a personal choice. If you've eliminated these things because you've had actual gut issues and health problems because of some of these foods, please, I'm begging you, don't do it. I've tried it briefly. It was a failed experiment. I took one for the team, if you will. Not worth it. Now, the bigger thing was that I was hungry, and instead of having a bit of butter or drinking some water or something, I gave in. And that was on me. Again, just to let you guys know, hey, I'm human. And every now and again, I might give in to temptation, or I might think, oh, hey, haven't tried this in a while. Wonder how I'll feel. Out of nowhere, I know. So that's what happened yesterday. And if I may, take my lesson to heart, please. It's not worth it. If you've cut things out for the similar reasons to me, please, it is not worth going back. It's absolutely not. It's not worth it. It's not worth the pain and the suffering. You may either feel the effects almost immediately or fairly quickly after, and it's not worth it. So luckily, I didn't have any more than I did. My rosacea would be even worse this morning. Give it another day or two, and this should all be cleared up. And hopefully by tomorrow, the IBS symptoms will have completely calmed down. But that's how quickly and how significantly those little things affected me after removing them. So for people who wonder, well, I want to try reintroducing this food into my diet, please proceed with caution. Please. Okay. Again, you might still want to try it and see how you feel, but you can also feel free to take my example as one of, yeah, maybe I don't want to do that. Okay. It's not worth it. That was a video for today. Sorry, not trying to be down or dark or whatever, but that happened, so I wanted to share it with you guys. Let you know that I'm not some like perfect person that never struggles or doesn't make poor decisions when it comes to diet. Even now, 5 years on, we can still make bad choices. I certainly did. Hopefully, though, they get spread out further and further apart, and hopefully they are less significant as when we first started trying to eat this way, right? Don't know. Maybe that's the point. But I did just want to share this with you guys because I thought, hey, I don't want people thinking that I never struggle and I've never tried to reintroduce or go back on things. Of course I have, and I just did that yesterday. But it just reminds me why I'm so glad that I'm staying carnivore, why I have to keep caffeine out of my system, why I have to keep milk and dairy products out of my system outside of butter, why I have to keep plants out of my diet. And I know there's many people out there going through the same struggles. But I didn't want people to think like, oh, that's it. I've got it all figured out. I've arrived. I've solved it all. I haven't. I'm still figuring this out every day. And yesterday was definitely a poor choice, but I'm far from perfect. So that's also why I wanted to share that with you guys, is that if you have setbacks or make poor decisions on your journey, whether you're just starting, whether you've been at it for months, weeks, months, or years, we can still make those poor choices. And I just wanted to, I guess, let you guys know that in it for 5 years and I still made a bad decision. Luckily, I'll recover fairly quickly. Stuff like this in the past, it would have taken me over a week to try to get past. It would have taken me over a week to get through those poor choices, even just in very small amounts. So body's responding a lot better than it used to, but definitely a reminder that, yeah, this is why I don't do this. This is why I can't do this. And sometimes we have to try the silly things, the foolish things, to be reminded of, this is why I don't eat this stuff. And again, not because berries are not allowed on a carnivore diet, not because you can't have cheese if you're carnivore, ketovore, or low carb. Of course you can, if you can tolerate them. That's the key. And I definitely can't. And that just reminded me that I can't. So I will now happily move on to my beef, butter, eggs, and chicken. I don't really eat bacon. Rarely. A piece or two now and again, I'm okay with. More than that tends to cause me upset stomach, which is unfortunate because I love the smell of, and I love the sound of, and I love the taste of well-cooked bacon. But anyways, that's a whole other conversation. Anyways, guys, I hope this is helpful in some way as you start this Monday, the 8th of September, with your weeks going forward. I do hope you guys all have great weeks ahead. Thank you all so much for your kindness, for watching, for your encouragement, for your good words. It's appreciated. It really is. So all the best to you today. And yeah, I know it's Monday, but Mondays can be actually really good days if we choose to make them that way, right? So that's it for me. Thank you so much for everything, guys. Appreciate it. Love you guys all. And thank you for your support. I'll be back with more videos as soon as possible over this week, probably. And I will see you soon. Take care. See you in the next one. Bye, guys.